Adam Lozano, welcome to Heart of the City. I'm so glad you're here.
Good to be here.
Listen.
So, okay, from military man to fitness, let's talk about that journey. That's quite a gap. How did you get here? Why fitness?
Actually, it started, I was a firefighter fresh out of high school, and that was I don't know, it's something I always wanted to be. I knew that from a young age, and it was great, and it was hard in a lot of ways. You see a lot of things that are just tough, and you get to be a part of people's worst day, which is something I wanted to be a part of, but you don't get to see anything after. Most times you don't find out how they turn out.
That's
you
so
don't really
true.
know, and I was 18, so not a lot of life to compare it to, but you kind of start to think that stuff happens every day to you, even though it doesn't. And so I did that for about, I don't know, 2 years or so.
So that was like mentally, that just put you in a weird place.
Yeah, it didn't at first. I was kind of good with it. It was young and silly. Didn't have a whole lot of responsibility. It was just kind of a fun job that I loved, that I was good at. And then New Year's Eve, 2008, we were in a fire truck accident. And
Wow.
have I told you that before?
No.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
we're going to a call, and the driver took the turn too fast and rolled the truck, and the driver ended up passing away in the truck.
Oh, Adam.
And it was, it was hard, and obviously it was young again, not a lot of experience. That was kind of a wake up call for me of, who are you? What are you doing? And that's when it became hard how often bad things happen.
I mean, totally.
And so, yeah, it was like I wanted to be a part of, I didn't know it then, but I just didn't like that I couldn't be a part of the future, the change, the better, the healing. So I left there, went to school, actually took a job at a gym at a front desk, because I was working out there and I had nothing else to do. I was in school, so did that, and that's when personal training started. And that was kind of my first, wow, I actually get to take people, not that they're necessarily their worst, but a place they don't want to be, and help them get to a place that they do.
Totally. See the transformation.
And be a part of that. So that was my big shift. And then Army was always in my family. My parents were both military, grandparents as well. So always wanted to do that, but just didn't. And so it got to the point where I was either going to do it or not. And so we just jumped in.
So how many years were you in the military?
10 total.
Wow.
About 6 years active and 4 reserve.
And fitness was still a big part, obviously, and just athleticism,
Yeah.
being in that space. So that kind of always stuck with you.
For sure. I didn't, honestly, in high school and early firefighting, I didn't exercise a lot. I didn't care about it. I was naturally good at things, and
Must be nice.
I didn't have it was a problem for me because I didn't have a work ethic. I didn't need to work hard yet. That kind of came on me pretty quick, but that was finding that desire to take care of yourself, and that took some time for me.
Yeah. Kind of finding that why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was firefighting. It was there was my why there. It was, to do the job well. And then after the accident, it was definitely okay, I want to do my job really well and I didn't want to be the guy that couldn't do something and somebody suffered because of that.
That's heavy.
And then firefighting or military the same way. I was a medic in the Army, as you know, but I just wanted to serve. I didn't really have a desire to go to war or care which, office was being held by who, and who the commander in chief was. I never cared about that. I just knew that there were people that felt called to serve, and that was I wanted to serve those people.
Yeah, it was the central theme of helping people.
Yeah. And that's kind of,
awesome.
that's all this is. It's I want to serve well and love deeply and care long term.
That's so awesome. Okay, so you ended up at Forte Fitness, which is a long-standing personal training gym in town. You were the general manager for quite a while,
About 6 years or so.
6 years, yeah. And then recently you've purchased the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, that
So, yeah, I mean, huge. Congratulations.
Thank
What made you finally take that leap in buying Forte?
It's, you know, I guess hindsight, trainers start training and they don't really know. You kind of get like a 3 to 4 year window, and then you kind of need something more. More people, different place, something. Change has to happen. And I don't know why, but that's just what happens. So either you change locations, or you manage, or you start your own. And that's kind of your
Path.
Yeah, or you stop. You just
Yeah.
move on to something else, which is great too in its own way. But it was not necessarily a plan to own my own, but it was in the back of my head. It was something that was the next thing. And I worked for Julian for so long, and before I went for the Army too as a trainer, and he just did things so well, and was a great leader and somebody I wanted to serve. I wanted to do things well by him, and it was just such an easy transition. There was an offer that came, and he fully could have taken that offer and kind of left me not high and dry. He wouldn't have done that, but it could have done that, and he gave me plenty of time to
That's so nice.
make it happen. And he
came to you first and basically gave you first dibs.
Yeah. And with an offer on the table, he gave me way more time than anyone else would deserve, and could have, and ultimately lost the offer in the process because it took so long.
Right.
He was, so willing to let me
He just believed in you.
figure it out. Yeah. And
That's
it was
so cool.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how it went for me. I was not, and I was, we've talked about this before, but I just feel, if you just serve well, love people well, things just kind of happen, and the next step feels pretty obvious.
It's so true. Yeah, I feel like that's even been such a theme in my life. Like, just keep showing up, doing your best, and it's like good things are going to come.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it's really not about having to chase it too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the biggest things that sticks with me about you is like one of the first times we really interacted was in my consultation at Forte when I came in, to kind of chat about what my needs were. That's kind of a practice of yours, right? Like that's how you operate with potential new clients. So I find it I just remember feeling, honestly, like kind of stereotyping you, because it's like you're this big guy. I knew you had done the military, like you're in this like gym space, and so there's like a lot of stereotypes around those things.
Yeah.
But then you were just like one of the most like emotionally in tune and like deeply connected
Thank you.
people I've ever really spent time with. And I feel like the span of our conversation was maybe 30 or 45 minutes. But if I remember correctly, I know for sure I did, but like, I think we both like had tears at one point, and it was like so poignant for me to be like, what the heck just happened? Like, who is this person? And that really has stuck with me. So, I mean, talk to me about that. Like, what maybe seemingly could be this like harder exterior or like outer shell. Like what is it about your engagement with your clients or even just people? I wasn't a client yet, I was just a person to you, but it's like, what is that? Like, why do you strive to have such a deep connection and really, really have that care, that level of care?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know necessarily why, as much as it just some sort of deep desire to like know people. And maybe I guess I could really dig into it to like firefighting days. Like you just don't get to know them. They're just people, bodies,
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways you protect yourself from them, from long-term like issues by treating people like they're not
like
real.
Avoiding the vulnerability
protecting yourself.
of it.
Yeah, because it's hard. So maybe some of that, maybe just a deep desire to like really know, and I just truly care. I don't know. It's
So why is that an important part of your process? Like when someone comes in looking for a new workout routine, what is it about sitting down with them for that 30 minutes or an hour to really get to know their why, or, what they're looking for? Why is that important?
Yeah, I think too many people don't feel important, and that their time is valuable, or that they're valuable, that their health is valuable. And it tends to be true for my moms, my dads, and my men tend to feel this way a little bit too. But my women, my moms, man, they sacrifice so much and they don't realize that if they just, take care of themselves more, they can sacrifice more if they want to. It's the airplane, analogy of putting the mask on yourself before anyone else. Like, you can serve better if that's your heart,
Yeah,
and that's
so
what you're
true.
called to do, and that's what you're wired to do. Like, you could do that better if you take care of yourself first. So I think it's, when people come in, I truly just want to know you. And if it's, I want to serve you well. And if that's just by listening to you or sharing a story or, there's like, being healthy just feels so good. And there's just so many people that miss out on that. And they're so close to it. And it's, it's days away, it's weeks away. It's right there. It's just, you got to start, give yourself up a little bit, sacrifice a little bit, or be selfish a little bit, just for a little bit. And you're closer than you think to,
Starts to pay off.
to feeling good, to feeling confident, feeling energetic, capable, powerful.
Yeah.
Those are things that, again, my women tend to say these things more often. Like, they don't feel confident and they don't feel strong and capable. And they are as they sit, but let's work towards that. And they're so close. And it's, sometimes it's like after the first session, like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Or I feel so much better now. And it's just one. Like, imagine just a few more days of that, or a few years or weeks even, it's just, they're just so close. So I think the listening, I care. I want to know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's,
I love it. I mean, it's an important piece, and I think it's something that I really noticed set you apart out of the gate. And it's been, an honor to be a part of the gym for years now, and, represent you guys as clients. And it's just, you really have a special touch in the fitness world. And I've been in a lot of different facets of fitness. So,
and that was one of the things
something
too, early on training, I had a female client that wouldn't train with me because I was a male, and I just didn't get it.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And I guess offended a little bit by how much I wanted to care for whoever it was. And I just didn't even get a chance because, and this was before some tattoos, so it was a little less intimidating maybe, but.
The tattoos, forgot to mention that.
And I was like, but it's just because I was a male, and it was the stereotype of training. And
but now I feel like you're pretty like receptive to that. You kind of ask people, like, are you more comfortable with a male or female? Like,
sure.
that was probably a learning curve for you.
I was just caught off guard. I was like, man, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And, I just I want to be given the opportunity to serve you. If I'm the one, then great. If it's someone else, great.
Yes.
Chattanooga's got a ton of great places to take care of yourself at. So if we can be the ones, then great. If not, then
love that mentality. Okay, so going back to, you talked a lot about like people's confidence and stuff. How would you describe your inner voice? What's the narrative?
That's an interesting question. It's probably more like analytical, I think, often. Like, what's next? What are you doing? I have a lot of like one-on-one conversations all day. So it's like constant therapy for me. And it's not usually me even talking. It's just me hearing them talk and getting to like almost live through them and their process. And so, a lot of like analyzing and thinking, and I don't know, it's just, just general happiness is kind of what's always there.
That's great.
But it doesn't always show on the outside. I tend to be a little like even on the outside, but
but even isn't bad. I find you happy.
Good.
Yeah. You're
hopefully that's how it looks.
Soft, welcoming, warm presence. I feel like that's awesome.
That's the hope, but I can maybe have a scowl or two here and there, just a thinking face, if you will.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, what would you tell someone who was scared to walk into a gym for the first time?
Sure. And, there's other big box gyms that tend to like, I don't know, shame bodybuilders and people that are scary in the gym. Like, I believe, and it's pretty commonly believed, those are the people that would want to spend time with you and share what they love and help you through your process.
They're so passionate.
Yeah. It's not...
You don't put that much dedication into something without there to be
care
passion.
About it deeply. And if someone comes in, regardless of who they are, how they look, what their phase of life is, those are probably the people that will want to sit down and help you the fastest. There's something to be said about just showing up, and just getting over that fear just for a second, that little brief bit of courage.
Just try to be open.
Yeah, just try to be open
Yeah.
and start, and this is how it's going to go. We'll talk like this, and it'll be how can we best serve you in whatever capacity it looks like. If that's leaving you alone, then we'll do that. If it's spending time with you and checking with you often, then we can do that too. I think just showing up is so important. And just giving it a shot.
I agree. Sometimes it's just like jumping off the cliff, just doing it.
And it's I wouldn't even just say like it's everything. Like if it's meditation, prayer, any of that stuff, you wouldn't not do that just because you only have a few minutes or you don't have a place to go. You would do it. You can even translate that further. Like our kids, if I only had 10 minutes to hang out with my kid, I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's not worth it. It's not enough, so it's not worth it. You'd still do it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Driving home to spend 10 or just to see your kiddo for 10 minutes, you'd do it.
You're gonna do it.
So driving to the gym just to get a 20-minute walk in, like it should still be worth it to you because that's
true.
how valuable it is.
That's so true.
But for some reason, that's the one place that we give up when we don't have time, or we
put all this pressure on. Like, well, if it can't look this way, then I'm not doing it at all.
Yeah, if it's not an hour, it's not enough.
Yeah.
If it's not, if I'm not sweating or sore, it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes just moving a little bit's enough.
Yeah.
And it just steamrolls.
Consistency for sure. Okay, so you mentioned kids. So you juggle a lot. You've merged gyms recently. You're managing a build out.
Yep.
You're a dad.
Yep.
You lead a team. You train yourself. Like, how do you manage it all? What is your, we talked a little bit about your inner voice. Thank God it's, happy and pretty positive. But, that's a heavy mental load. Like, what are some resources? What are your tactics to managing?
Exercise obviously is it's a priority. Prayer, meditation, things like that. Just support system though. I talk about building your corner a lot, which is a boxing reference to, you're in the ring fighting, but you do between rounds come back to your corner where you have your coach, your trainers, your hitman or cut man, your family, all people that you've built in your life to help you prepare for the next round.
So awesome.
And your coach is there to remind you of your training and what you've planned for and your approach that you've gone for. Your trainers are there to remind you to keep your hands up and breathe a certain way. And then your family and the people you love. I mean, there's so many things that you build, maybe not on purpose. You might just have people in your corner that you didn't mean to put there. But then if you start to really focus on who belongs there, you'll be much more efficient in that fight. You're the one that's got to fight though.
Yeah.
And so, family's huge. I mean, my wife is incredible and stays at home with our boys who are great, but wild, young and crazy. They don't have an off switch. So that helps having, a strong home life that just doesn't have I don't have to worry or wonder or stress. It's all taken care of. And so I can focus.
Yeah. It's crazy how you really can thrive in certain areas when other areas of your life are stabilized. It's like if everything is chaotic, it's just so much harder to grow and take risks and try new things. And so
the truth of the matter is I'm not the best at everything. So it's better for me to do what I can do and give some power away and some control away. And it's a military thing. Like everybody's a shooter first, but as a medic, when it's time for me to be a medic, nobody else does my job. That's my job.
Yeah.
And I have to do it well. And I'm also not worried about this guy's job because it's his.
Yeah.
He does it well.
You got to stay in your lane.
And so everybody's you got to give roles and then have people and trust that they're going to do their job.
Yeah.
Because they're the professionals that do it. So my trainer, same thing. I have 14 as of right now, 14 just awesome people, all different walks of life and just all care deeply for our people. And that's easy for me. I can just,
you can let them do their thing.
I can trust and, I can care for 14 so that they can care for the,
so cool.
200 plus. And then the same thing, build out's a new thing. That's the stress of change for me is good.
Yeah.
I like having a little chaos. It helps to be
same.
on my toes.
Keeps you on your toes. I was just going to say that. Yeah, so true.
Yeah, it's something to manage, something to handle.
And it's exciting. It's going to be so worth
Sure.
it. It's going to be a beautiful space, more suitable for you guys now that you're growing, a bigger team.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about the team dynamic. What are some non-negotiables when it comes to like team dynamic? Like what are pet peeves of yours that are, like no-nos or make you roll your eyes?
I think trust, communication. Like if you need something, say something.
Yeah.
And it goes a lot of ways. Like if you need time off, like take it and like care for yourself. And if you don't, I'm gonna be upset by that too. But trust, communicate. Those are two that are. If the trust is gone, it's not something you're gonna gain back probably at all.
Yeah.
And it's hard to break it, but it's once it's gone, it's gone. It's just take care of yourself. That's all I want to do is provide a place for people to come for my employees, if you will, my trainers. I want to serve them. I don't see myself as a boss. I see them as bosses of their schedule, if you will, managers of their schedule, their people, and I want to serve them in whatever capacity I can. So time off, more money, different money, the right equipment, whatever they need is what I'm here to do. So, and that's, if I'm pouring into them and they're not trusting me to communicate with me, then something's wrong. We're not, the system's broken.
Yeah.
So
I love that, Adam. That's awesome. Okay. How has fatherhood shaped your view of success?
That's a tough one because doesn't always feel successful. So aside from firefighting, being a dad and a husband I knew that was on the table regardless of anything else. So
you always dreamed of being a dad and a husband?
Always. I don't know why, but just always did.
How sweet.
It's been sweet. And so the teaching your son to ride a bike, those things, like you get excited about that. And it's been a lot harder to do that than I thought, and challenging. And
it's not like the movies.
It's not at all. And you kind of think a little bit, I guess, like it's going to be a younger version of you, but they're their own person already. My oldest is 6 and youngest is 3. And man, they have opinions and personalities, and they're I don't know where they get it at, but they got it. And everything that I want to do is really, I have to consider, their opinions and personalities too. So it's just like leading anything else.
Yeah. Does it give you like a different sense of drive for business success or, any sort of like, growth or?
I thought about that the other day. It's, I'd say no. And that's because I think I just always want to do things well. And if regardless of who's watching,
right.
It's the integrity side, I guess, is, you know, and if I can't always know, what's going to happen. Like, for instance, my little brother just joined the Army, and I have a drill sergeant friend who's nearby, hasn't interacted with him yet, but I'm just like, man, the past 10 years of my life, I've known this one guy who's now going to interact with my little brother, and I'm like, what stories is he going to hear about how I did or who I was? And it's like, the chances of that connection is so low. But I like had such peace of mind of like, I know that my heart was in the right place, and my intent was right. And if there was any kind of thing that I did wrong, it was at least the person knew my heart. And if I messed up, and it was, so that kind of stuff is.
That's such a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a worry for me.
So what is a worry for you? Like what keeps Adam up at night?
Man, I wish I don't have anything. I think I'm and I've had lows. This is not to say that I've never had any kind of thoughts.
You're in a good place.
I'm in a good place. I have a good team. I have good people.
So happy for you.
Good people. There's just people in my life that I know. Like, I can't send an email, that, and I know that.
It's okay, you got me.
That's my corner, right? Like I know that when it comes to at least the email, for sure, I know Amy will help me out. In fact, I was telling someone the other day, I sent a group text out about sending an email out, and like 2 minutes later, you're like, "Do you want me to send that email?" I'm like, "Yes."
Oh my gosh, I read your mind.
Yeah, you did. I was like, "Oh, thank God."
I just know when something big's happening in Adam's world, I need to check and like, do we need to send a communication?
Yep, please, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I have some rapid fire questions. Okay, we're gonna pick up the pace. You ready?
Nope.
Okay, what's one thing always in your gym bag or your car?
Ooh.
Always.
Probably my backpack,
Okay.
my computer, like my
Okay.
situation, my stuff. That's an Army thing, having all your stuff with you all the time. Your go bag.
Just like that readiness mentality.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. What's your go-to pump up song?
Ooh. Right now it's probably like Jack Harlow.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
Good
why.
one.
Anything by what he's doing right now
Yep.
feels good.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Hardest lesson in business ownership so far?
Hardest lesson. Maybe just like speed of which things are supposed to get done or not getting done. That's been, and just being okay with that.
Happening slower than you anticipated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trusting that like you can't give grace and not, and then also have a standard to follow as well.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay. Favorite moment with a client?
Man, actually, I mean, so many, but just one the other day mentioned that she just broke from the 200s to the 100s and how sweet that was, and
That's huge.
which was sweet enough by itself. But then she mentioned that she, for the first time in her life, has done something consistently for a year, and that was so
Wow.
sweet to think about, like just how for the first, she's, I don't know how old she is, but she's old, about our age. And for the first time in her life, she's felt like she's shown up for herself
Wow.
consistently for a year.
I
That
love
was
that.
sweet. That was,
That's so rewarding.
I got the chills when I was talking
Yeah,
about it to her. I was like,
same.
man, those are the small things, like small, but that's
But
not the obvious things, I
massive,
should say.
yeah.
Not the things that people think are the wins, but that's a big
I
one.
love that. Wow. Good for her.
Yeah,
Best advice you've ever received?
man. That's a good one. I think it's just stems from what I've been saying, just like care deeply, and it comes back however you put it out there.
Like a life of service pays off.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be fast, so care deeply. Yeah.
Okay,
do it.
we'll have more offline conversations about that. Okay, a few more. Who inspires you?
Amy Walters inspires me.
Hush, no, can't use me.
You do. No, you do. I can use you. Oh man, my parents, my wife,
Sweet.
my kids. I mean, I feel like that's probably one of the things that maybe that answers the former question about why I like these conversations. It's constant inspiration.
Yeah. And you get to reflect on all you're blessed with.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
mirror.
It's so sweet. Okay, one word you hope people use to describe Forte.
Man, immediately came as safe. It's a place to go that you want to be.
Love it. Safe.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like it's a safe place.
good.
Yeah.
And that's safe for all reasons, not just safe to grow, safe to
Yeah.
be vulnerable.
Yeah. I've been there
safe to be
through
excited,
2 pregnancies, through like peaks of my fitness journey. I've seen like a lot of different versions of myself there, and I feel safe at every version. That is really so true.
And that's probably what would be the most like. If I ever felt like we failed, as if someone felt like they weren't.
Didn't belong.
Yeah, and it's. Yeah, I mean, I would feel pretty devastated by that.
Yeah. I think you're doing good.
Good.
Okay, let's close her out here. So
Alrighty,
for
this has been
someone
fun.
listening who is standing on the edge of a big decision, like maybe a career change, maybe buying a business, like what would you tell them in maybe a sentence or two?
Yeah, so it's not always easy, but a military thing, a common conversation that's had is hesitation will kill you. Jumping out of a plane, if you don't just jump, many things can happen leading up. Your nerves hit you, you trip, you fall, and that's far more dangerous than just going. And again, building your corner, building your people. Like the fall is not too scary when you have a big parachute to catch you.
That's so good.
Just building those people in there to, just jump, just go. Same thing with like rappelling off of something. Like the transition over the edge is always like the scariest part because you're not quite on the rope yet.
I hate
And there's
cliff
like
jumping.
slack. It's
I hate
scary,
doing
right?
that
But all of
because I
that's
overthink it.
But it's so dangerous right there at the
Yeah.
edge. And that's probably more like true in these decisions. Like the edge is dangerous. Like you can fall, you could slip, you could go the wrong way, you could.
And half the time it's like more dangerous to like crawl back down than it is to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
jump. So it's
Just
like to
go.
backtrack and get yourself out of the precipice of, or to the next step of growth. I mean, sometimes it's worse. It's
And there's
going
a
to be
great
harder.
chance you're at the jumping point because you did all the right things to get
You're
there.
meant to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you've done to get there, you've built the right systems, people, you're there for a reason. So
Yeah.
most likely you should just commit.
Commit. Love it. Okay. Lastly, Adam, I want you to finish the sentence. Okay.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
The heart of Forte is.
I say it again. To love and care deeply and to serve whoever we're able to serve as long as they'll let us.
Love it. Thanks so much for being here today. You're awesome.
Sweet, sweet. Thanks for having me.